Nigeria's exports soared to 136.6 trillion naira in 2024, up to 219%. Non-oil export hit $5.45 billion across 126 countries. To the US alone, $3.8 billion led by fuel, fertilizer and cocoa. Demand is still strong. Dangote fertilizer sends 37% of output to US, even after tariffs. But here is the game changer: better packaging, global certification, and digital branding. US costs are rising, creating space for African fashion, organic foods, and cultural exports. This is moment to innovate from cocoa to tech. Nigeria must brand made in Nigeria for the world. So this is our focus this morning. My kids are already here. We'll take a break now. When we'll come back with the Grand Runner, please to stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, the program is Business Today, and today we're taking a look at turning made in Nigeria into global brand and rising tariffs. And I have with me in the studio to do justice to it, I have Mr. Abiodun Oja, a financial expert. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kule. It's a pleasure having me again, and I'm very delighted.
Let's take a look at the issue of this tariff also coming from the US. How do you think will invariably affect our products in Nigeria?
Yes, the significance of that tariff is the fact that the majority of the burden of the tariff will be borne by American. That is the truth of the matter. Let me put a figure to it. If you now that we've been tariffed at 14%, I'm assuming that only 4% of that tariff will be borne by exporters.
Okay.
Reason being that who are going to buy this product is Americans that will be buying the product we export to America. So what Donald Trump is trying to do is trying to play around the fact that I'm going to tax you Americans, but let it look as if I'm taxing the world. That is the way I see it. Thank you.
So, don't you think it will also invariably have a kind of implication on the products we have in Nigeria? Because most of the time we also rely, especially on the US, for exports.
Yes, it's a wake-up call for us, like you mentioned in your introduction. I listened to it. You know, it's a wake-up call to us to be less dependent on importation or exportations. Take for instance cocoa. Our major good here, apart from oil, is predominantly grown in West Africa. Cote d'Ivoire, next to Cote d'Ivoire is Nigeria. Why can't we make sure that we harness the value, the full value chain of cocoa? Are you getting what I'm saying now? So if it's a wake-up call, like I said earlier, for us to start looking inward on what we can do to add value to our raw materials instead of exporting raw materials and creating jobs for other countries.
We must produce to finish.
Yes,
products.
we must produce to finish or semi-finished products so that our graduates can get job. I don't know whether we are getting what I'm saying. Because if we export raw materials, we are trying to say that, well, we don't need job in Nigeria, so you can build industries in America. So we Nigeria, we don't need job. That's what we are saying by saying that we are exporting raw materials. So what I'm trying to say is that now is the time for us to look inward and start building industries.
Yeah, can you say which of the sectors or products will be affected by this tariff?
Basically, the products that we export to US, 86.7% of our products, approximately 87% of what value for value of what we export to the US is crude oil. Next is cocoa, then cashew nut, and then sesame seed. These are the 3 or 4 items that we export to the US. Now look at the significance of the crude oil, for instance. Like Nigeria's government is going to be doing is the one exporting that. I hope you know. Now, what is going to happen is that 10% of that value, that or the 14%, is going to be borne by Americans. Nigerian government may only be forced.
So what has been what has been the reactions of Americans to this policy, when you also say that 10% of it will also be borne by them?
You see, this is the brutal truth that I'm bearing to you today. It's very, very easy to understand. If I'm exporting crude oil to America, this is the American that will buy the crude oil indirectly. The only economic damage that we are doing, that Dangote refinery is now helping us to correct, is the fact that we are creating jobs for Americans. But now that we are refining crude locally, we are doing well to ourselves through Dangote. I don't know whether you get that one. Now, bearing the brunt is going to be borne by America. It's the American that will buy the crude at the end of the day, because it's going to be converted to finished product. I guess you know that. So what has happened now is the fact that we are creating jobs for Americans, and surprisingly, it's Nigeria that is actually flying to America to go and do the work there. They are bringing this money back to us in form of foreign direct inflow. But if we want to really do it in a way that Russia has been doing, which I admire Putin for, is the fact that they are making sure that they are independent as much as possible economically. And that is the way I want Nigeria to tow. That's the part I want us to tow, ensuring we are independent economically.
Let's take a look at what happened last year. Nigeria exported $3.8 billion worth of goods to the US. Will this figure likely drop, or is the amount strong enough to keep it steady?
What will happen is that exporter of good now, this time around, may want to export it to other countries where there are no tariffs imposed. But if Americans still want gold, if the demand for gold in America is still at the same level, because now we are expecting that gold will be increased in price by 14% invariably. So if Americans still want gold despite the high cost, which is going to be likely to be because gold is an ostensible item. I hope you know. It's not an item that is being used by people who cannot afford 312 million, except where it is being used for manufacturing some of the chipset. But for ornamental use, gold is an essential. It's not an essential item, but it's an ostensible item. So ostensible item in the sense that people that are using gold are not the poor masses. So for that reason, I believe that the demand for gold may not go down, economically speaking. But if peradventure it goes down, then people that are exporting gold, the miners may be forced to divert their goods to other markets like Asia, China to be precise. Thank you.
Okay, let's look at this foreign exchange and inflow. Will it increase, or going to be affected by this policy?
I want to believe that foreign exchange inflow to Nigeria will increase, not because of this policy alone, but because of the fact that Nigeria's economy has stabilized, and our naira has stabilized to 1,500 to 1,600. Invariably, manufacturers are now very, very comfortable in the sense that they know that exchange rate fluctuation has been eliminated. So you know I'm
talking about the inflow of that exchange.
Now yes, I'm coming to something.
Okay.
So now that manufacturer knows that exchange rate is stabilized, more people will bring in more money into the country. People that are working, we are talking about foreign direct inflow. People that are working outside Nigeria will want to bring in more money because they know that there is stability. I don't know whether you get what I'm saying.
This tariff will also affect export from Nigeria, which invariably should also bring inflow of exchange. When we do not export, how do we get that exchange?
Yes, if we don't export, we won't get the exchange. We can export goods, we can export services. And let me tell you something that makes it very, very sweet for us. If you bring in $1 from US, it becomes 1,500 or something Nigeria, which is a lot of money compared. to. I'm telling you something. 1,500 is still enough to feed one person in Nigeria today for a day, which is not possible in America. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. So that's just the point.
No, rather than also exporting goods, expecting to get foreign exchange, we are also exporting services now. Is that not what you're saying?
Yes, we can export services as well.
That's what's also bringing that
yes.
exchange.
Yes.
What does this mean for business to rely heavily on U.S. market? What does it mean?
There's no way we won't rely on U.S. market, because the world is yearning for a single currency with which we can trade. And I want to tell you the truth. The fact is that U.S. dollar is the currency of the world, and we must accept that for now. Though previous government wanted to shift from US dollars, and when they wanted to shift to China, the Chinese
currency swap.
No, it wasn't currency swap then. It was trying to ease the burden of exchange rate on Nigerians. Then that was what they wanted to achieve. But when they tried it, it didn't work. US dollar is the currency of the world, so there's no way we can run away from it. What we can do is to play around it, like President Tinubu has rightly done. As it is now, we have an advantage in the sense that when you import, when you have a service you render in the America. Let me point out this.
Talking about,
if you render a service in America dollar, when the money reaches Nigeria, it becomes a whole lot of money. So, and that is a good thing.
Is it not also having an implication on our economy?
The implication it's having on our economy is for us to put on our thinking cap that what can I do to provide service in US dollars? Be it in tech, be it in export of goods and services to US, to earn US dollars, so that it becomes a whole lot of money when it gets to Nigeria. These are the areas in which we need to think along.
Some people have also talked about diversification, maybe also looking at which country should we also look at in terms of exporting our goods. As an expert and somebody who has also been monitoring this policy as it affects Nigeria, which country do you think Nigeria can look at now?
Yes, we can look at China, because after America is China. We can look at China. We can look at China. We can look at Asian worlds, Malaysia, all these friendly. You can even look at other West African countries, South Africa, Egypt. These are big economies around there, and we can also look inwards, like Russia is doing. They are looking inwards.
How do you mean looking inwards?
Now, Russia and Nigeria, they have similar gift when it comes to natural resources, and they make themselves so self-reliant that they can do without America. So I'm not saying this to confront America. I'm saying this to tell us what to do to put food on the table of an average Nigerian, to put jobs in the hand of our teeming fresh graduate. We need to start looking inward. We need to start manufacturing things that we are using.
Exactly, because I was also trying to also ask you that we also have the capacity to produce standard goods that will be exportable to other countries aside the US, where we also export our raw materials.
The truth of the matter is that we do. Where there is the will, there is the way. We do have the capacity. Mr. Kunle, I want to tell you the truth. The fact is that Nigerians or Africans are called black gold. Somebody told me that.
Why do you not believe in that goods that we produce in Nigeria?
We need to orientate ourselves. Before Oyinbo came, were we not living longer than now? Were we not living good life? What we need to do is to appreciate what we have, appreciate what Oyinbo is bringing to us, and manage the two together so that we can get the best out of the two. So we need orientation. Our leaders need orientation. The followers need orientation to the fact that make the Nigerian goods are good. Look at what Dangote is doing. Look at what Innocent is doing. Innocent is manufacturing vehicle in Nigeria, selling it to West African countries, providing jobs in a way. Imagine if we abolished importation of cars and started manufacturing the car we have and started using what we manufacture, over the time we will improve upon fuel efficiency. In fact, let me tell you something, sir. We are even the world is even looking away from fossil fuel. We are going to electric vehicles now. In fact, let me tell you something. At the end of the day, Dangote refinery may be forced to start manufacturing fertilizers. Because the fact is that there is no fear about whether fossil fuel will be eliminated. Because fossil fuel can be converted into so many things, including plastic and clothes. So, if we focus on other things apart from crude, we will get it right in no distant time.
So despite this tariff, demand for Nigerian fertilizers and agricultural products remains strong. Because, I said, despite this tariff from the US, demand for Nigerian fertilizers and agricultural products remains strong.
Yes.
Does this suggest we should double down on agro exports?
We should double up on it, not double down. We should. Because everybody eats, nobody drink petrol. So that sends a strong message. Everybody eats, nobody drink petrol. Thank you.
Let's also take a look at fashion, tech, creative industries, how the highest export potential under current conditions.
Fashion, let me pick fashion for instance. Everybody wear clothes. We are talking about other alternatives to wearing tie and suit. Now we are beginning to understand that even our adire is good. You can even convert it to very fashionable. So Americans and the world all over, they are beginning to embrace Nigeria's culture, like culture cross-fertilization. And our textile, yes, the shoe factories in Aba is being embraced all over the world in a subtle way, and those people are not making progress. They are not making noise about it. So it's hard time we stop hyping. My shoe is Italian. Sorry to Italian people, I'm not downgrading your market. Let's be proud that our shoe is made from Aba. Thank you, sir.
Let's look at the policy and government response. What immediate steps should government take to shield exporters from the impact of tariffs?
Yes, the step I think we should take is to look inward. Take for instance, what are the obstacles to manufacturing goods locally? One of the major issues we have is power. This hydra-headed power that we have not been able to solve, we should face it 100%. Face it squarely. Let's solve the issue of power. Stable electricity is needed for industrial growth. Then we should look at how to make ease of doing business. We should look at how to make business easy to be done by Nigerians. In terms of tax rebate, tax incentive, in terms of ease of registering your business, in terms of access to credit, manufacturers should be able to have access to credit so that they can create job. I'm mentioning this job creation because I believe that if we create job for our teeming youth, Mr. Kule, if we create job for our teeming youth, we will solve like 70% of our economic problem.
I think the other thing is also we are not consuming what we are producing here in Nigeria. Take for example cocoa. I want to take the finished products. One of the finished products of cocoa is also chocolate. We don't. I think our disposition to taking chocolate is very low here.
Yeah, it is very low, and it shouldn't be, because chocolate, as far as I'm concerned, is aphrodisiac, and that is why it is so valuable to Japanese. So if you are not, it's so valuable to Americans. And
if you are not eating chocolate,
we are not appreciating it. We are not appreciating what we have. We should start appreciating what we have by ensuring that we invest deliberately in the cocoa value chain. Let's provide credit to those people that are into cocoa value chain. At least before we even export, let's convert it to powder so that we can create job for our youth. Then let's continue to advertise on the use and consumption of cocoa so that we can internalize all these things.
I'm looking at 5 years ahead. How can Nigeria position itself to thrive in world of trade tensions and protectionism?
What we can do in the next 5 years, the major thing we need to do is to ensure that we put good people in place of leadership. Sir and ma, that is the best thing to do. Let's look for good people and put them in place of leadership. Like I said, I've said it for often time, that policies are good. Yes, policies are good. Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Nigerian Automotive Initiative, so many policies that are drawn to ensure that indigenization policies to ensure that Nigerians get value for what they own naturally. Still, they are not getting the value. Why? Because of poor leadership quality. So what we should ensure now, in order to gain from this our discourse, is to ensure we put good people who can implement policies in place. Before we elect leaders, let's check their track record. What have they been doing? What do they want to do differently?
So what even the Africans, what are they actually doing to ensure that this does not have a greater impact on them in terms of the trade that they should have? Would you say that the Africans are also ready to embrace all of that?
We are ready. We've been preparing for this, all this while. Like I told you earlier on, the tariff in the US.
Africans talked about common currency, and yet we cannot achieve it.
Yes, that's the answer to that question. Is the last comment that I made. The fact that we need good people to drive good policy. Thank you.
So is that see why we are not trading amongst ourselves in Africa?
Yes. Now, if our president, if our leaders, or whoever is in the aim of affair, is not able to negotiate and rally around West Africa, look, this is our region, let's develop it together. If we are doing grandstanding against each other, look at what is happening in Ghana. Ghana is saying Nigeria should go back. We all need ourselves. So what we need to do is to be playing fatherly role to West Africa the way China is doing to other Asian countries. China is advancing, while other countries are bullying us with tariff. I don't want to mention name. China is advancing. You need to listen to what Chinese are doing. Go to academics, see research, quality research coming from China, and development coming from Asian countries. So what we need to do as Nigeria, as a country, is to play fatherly role. We are the father of West Africa. In fact, we are the father of Africa. We need to play fatherly role, embrace them. Let's look at what we can do for each other and harness opportunities that are available in our local.
So what will not be your advice to exporters, because they are also at the center of this discussion in terms of product packaging, in terms of branding their product to meet international standard? Yes,
I would say that, like you asked me the first time, that do we have a capacity to make our good meet international standard? The answer is 100% yes. Now, what exporters need to do is to put human face to what they are doing by acknowledging the fact that exporting raw material is an economic sabotaging measure. Though you will gain, but let them continue to do backward integration or forward integration, as the case may be. Let's them move from merely exporting cocoa beans to moving to trying to export cocoa powder. Now, between processing of cocoa from beans to powder, you have employed thousands of people. So let's put human face in what we are doing. Thank you.
In the last 25 minutes or thereabout, I've been speaking with Mr. Abiodun Oja, a financial expert, and together we're taking a look at turning made in Nigeria goods into global brands amid rising tariffs, especially from the US. No, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on the show today.
It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure having you. That's how it's going to be on the show today. Join us on Friday for another one. Kunle Ariyo is my name. Good morning.